Hello and welcome to Estuary TV News with me, James Dunn. Today we're going to be looking at the headlines from across the region from various newspapers. But first, here's Richard Morris with the news headlines.
Hello, in the headlines today, dementia-friendly businesses in North East Lincolnshire and 50 children in our region are in need of forever families for adoption. Local businesses are being encouraged to become dementia-friendly. The push comes as part of a wider government initiative to invest more in dementia care and services. Emily Cross, the Services Manager for the Alzheimer's Society in North and North East Lincolnshire, explained what businesses can do to be more aware of the disease.
It can be something really small, such as engaging in Dementia Friends awareness sessions to give them a broader knowledge of dementia, so just a really baseline knowledge, nothing clinical, but to understand what it might be like for a person living with dementia in their local community and the small differences that they can make as a business. So their signage, sort of how to get to the facilities, how to get out of the facilities, things that we might not think of as individuals, but actually can be really, really powerful and have a big impact for people with dementia and their carers.
They could have, some of the staff could have a different attitude towards people who are maybe being a bit slow or forgetful, just to bear in mind that they may have a problem, memory problem or a dementia, and just be more aware of that and help them more.
One of the biggest sports debates of the moment will be up for discussion at the Humber Mouth Literature Festival. The festival is next week and this year focuses on the theme of war and conflict. Nick Quantrill is hosting an event with the help of two acclaimed writers who will debate the current name change issue at Hull City. Nick wants to ensure the event isn't like a standard literary occasion and will be informal, meaning the bar will be open at the Hull Indoor Sports Centre on November the 13th.
Basically, the way the Humber Mouth operates is they have a theme each year, and this year it's war and conflict. So for me as a writer, a crime writer, it's not something I can naturally get a hold of, especially because I've not got a novel out this year. So my other kind of big passion is football, and when I'm always on Twitter, too much on Twitter, and one of the kind of the big things is name change issue at Hull City, and it's been described by people as a civil war on the terraces. And the more I kind of got to think about that, the more I thought, yeah, that's actually true. And the idea started to stick there. Maybe that would be something I could tie into the festival as a war and conflict type of theme.
Well, Nick approached us and explained what he wanted to do, and straight away it sort of struck a chord, because we've got an awful lot of footballers here with very strong, strident opinions about the state of football generally, so it seemed a natural fit to bring the event here.
Derelict land behind a youth centre on Hull's Beverley Road is set to become a farm. Hull City Council and various partner organisations such as Mind are going to transform the derelict land into a vegetable farm and also keep rabbits and chickens there. The council is putting a £30,000 grant alongside the other interested parties. Councillor John Hewitt outlined to us why the City Council is taking part in this initiative.
The biggest aspect of it all is to try and make people's money go further. We're in times of austerity. People are finding it more and more difficult to survive, and this is one sort of example that we're trying to get together to get people to grow their own produce and cook their own produce and save themselves money. And it's also healthier, when you're cooking fresh vegetables and such as that, it's more healthier, and that's one of the other sides of the story.
More than 50 children are in need of forever families in our region, according to recent figures. Hull, East Riding, North and North East Lincolnshire councils released the figures for National Adoption Week starting today. Events will be held throughout the region to promote adoption and offer information to potential adopters. And one of the biggest challenges is finding homes for sibling groups. Brothers and sisters often have to be split at what is an already turbulent time because it's tough to find homes willing to take on two children.
Currently at the moment, in particular North East Lincolnshire, looking for carers for about 10 sibling groups or adopters for 10 sibling groups, and that is the difficulty, because lots of children come into care and it's important for them to stay together, because obviously they move from their families into care, and then if they have to separate because we can't find a placement for them together, that's really, really difficult for these children. So we're really keen to look for adopters who can offer that space and that time for sibling groups in particular.
That's all from me for now, and we'll be back with more news soon. If you've got any news for us, then please don't hesitate to contact us on Grimsby 01472 31 555 Bye for now.
Thank you, Richard. Now it's time for our weekly paper review, and my guest today is Nikki Hale from the Catch Training Facility in Stallingborough. Hello, Nikki.
Hi, James. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
Yeah, great.
Thanks for agreeing to come in today. So we're going to look at the stories from across the region. What's caught your eye this week?
Well, I'm very much a passionate supporter of things local. So obviously, I've gone for local stories. One of the things I picked out straight away was the event that was held this week at Abbey's, where Rob Walsh and Gary Madison and
that's in Grimsby, and
yeah.
Rob Walsh is the chief exec of North East Lincolnshire Council.
Yeah, and it was a great event. It was fantastically well attended, but also I think it was important for people, particularly like Rob Walsh in his capacity as chief exec of the local authority, to really headline what the council is trying to do to help local businesses grow and help the region prosper. So yeah, it was a good event to be at.
Because a lot's changing. They've had huge cuts to their budgets from central government, but this was his chance to tell. There's a lot of business representation there, specifically what they've got planned and how they intend to encourage growth. Did he convince you that that's what he's trying to do?
Yes, he did. He was very good, because they did a question and answer session after each speaker. There were three guest speakers, and after each one they did a question and answer session, which I always think is a bit dangerous because you never know what's going to be shot at you. But I have to say all three speakers responded really well to the questions asked, and I posed a question about how some of the larger firms in the area can tap into maybe funding from the LEP or regional growth funds, because it does seem very SME focused.
Small and medium sized.
But there still are larger companies out there with 200, 250 plus employees that do need to grow and might be perceived as being cash rich, but actually aren't. So they still need that little bit of extra help.
And obviously you're from Catch, which trains young people primarily in the industrial sectors. Are things looking good for the future?
Oh, fantastic, James. Yeah, it's a really vibrant and encouraging place, inspirational place to work. We deal primarily with process technician and engineering apprenticeships, and there's good uptakes on both of those this year. But also we can work with, we're working with a lot of job seekers as well, bearing in mind that a lot of the major sites, processing sites in the region have got big shutdowns coming on next year. They're going to be looking for a lot of additional temporary workforce contractors. So we're doing a lot of courses with job seekers at the moment to help upskill them and get them into a more work-ready position.
And I wish you all the best. I'm sure you do a very good job. And the next thing I wanted to look at, I mean, you've pointed this out in the Cleethorpes Chronicle, and it's about plans for Grimsby Town's new stadium. There's been plans released about it being just off Peaks Parkway, but now UKIP have come out and said that they think a good idea will be on the old Tyoxide site in Grimsby. But the Conservatives say that's balmy. Tell me what you think, Nikki.
Maybe it is a little bit balmy. I don't think, this is my personal opinion, I don't think the site on the Peaks Parkway is an appropriate site for a football stadium.
It's right next to the crematorium, of course.
It is. It's adjacent to a lot of residential areas. But I would personally, obviously, it's going to drag visiting traffic right through what is already a heavily congested town centre. I personally would prefer to see the stadium built on a brownfield site rather than see more of our greenfield site. I mean, this is right on the doorstep of an area that is going to see the bulk of its greenfield sites disappear to residential development. So I would prefer to see the stadium on a brownfield site, maybe away from residential areas, where they could get a lot more use out of it, maybe for pop concerts and things, you know, get more use out of the stadium other than just hosting football matches.
Well, we'll see how that one pans out. We're going to move on for now, if that's all right. But there's a couple that we looked at, and we're accessing these online. But I mean, this is probably the biggest story of last week, which was that Hull City Council, they spent a lot of money on trying to get HMS Illustrious into the dock to become a tourist attraction, but they've not been successful, so that's off the cards now. Tell me what you think about that.
Oh, well, 10 out of 10 for them trying, I suppose. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see, you know, how much was actually spent on pursuing that.
I mean, there was talk of 500,000, but I think that's how much was allocated, and the actual amount was around 40,000 in the end, but still a lot of money.
It's still a lot of money. I think, you know, Hull seems to be getting everything at the moment. It's got City of Culture coming up in 2017. And obviously this is one more attraction they were hoping to get. But
they've not. But one interesting thing is they're talking about a marine jet, a floating jetty, and they're hoping that cruisers will visit the city. I mean, you go on cruises, don't you, Nikki?
I do. I love my cruise holidays, James. I really do.
What was your response to that?
Well, my first words to my husband was, please can we not go on one that stops at Hull? You know, you kind of think, I've experienced cruises in various parts of the world now, and whilst it would be great to bring that extra, you know, tourist trade into the region, I just hope to God they sail up the Humber at night.
But I mean, it's interesting you say that, because I know for us Brits, and particularly for us living here, you probably wouldn't, when you're on your holiday, you know, you want a bit of sun on a cruise, you wouldn't want to stop off at Hull. But actually, for some people who, you know, aren't from Britain perhaps, you know, City of Culture 2017, why wouldn't they stop off at Hull?
Well, yeah, good point. You know, you've got to think, I mean, there are cruise companies that do operate sort of round Britain cruises. They touch on a bit of the Irish coast, maybe the Channel Islands as well.
Stop off at Liverpool, which was nothing before City of Culture, they say.
Yes, and you think of a cruise, it's not just that ship docking there and X thousand or hundred of passengers getting off and flooding into the city. Obviously, they provide lots of tours to add value to the visit. You know, maybe a visit to a cultural experience on an ancient ruin or...
Yeah. Another one that you mentioned, we were talking about this earlier actually, a big furore over Topshop skinny jeans, and this all came about because a young woman posted a picture of comparing her own legs, and she's a size 8 to 10, to the legs of a woman in Topshop, and
they are the mannequin.
I mean, when you look at them, actually, they are incredibly skinny. Do you think this controversy is justified?
I do. I think, you know, a lot of the mannequins now that you see in shops are not typical of the average UK body size, shall we say.
Puts pressure on young people?
I think it does, or it could do. It could potentially put pressure on more vulnerable young people, and I would like to maybe see shops act in a more responsible manner and maybe have a couple of different size mannequins to show that their clothes, I mean, theoretically, if they've got a good product, it should look as good on that young lady as on myself, you know.
We're running out of time. I'm just going to pose one more question to you. I mean, I suppose their argument might be, do people want to see these skinny mannequins and think they could look like that, or do they want to see the bigger mannequins? Are they going to rule that out?
It's always nice to have something aspirational to aim towards, but I think
maybe
realism is the key.
Okay, thank you very much for coming in today, Nikki. I'm
afraid
afraid that's all we've got time for. But please do share your stories with us if you've got any, or your views. Our number is 01472 3155553. You can also get in touch with us on social media, search for Estuary TV on Facebook or Twitter, or you can email us on news@estuary.tv. So that's all from me. Bye for now.